Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome everyone. Welcome to the stream. Okay. Okay. First stream of the week. As always, let me check really quick my audio. Okay, I think it's fine. Yeah. It's all good. So yeah. Here we are again with a new stream, ready to start working on Voyager again. Yeah, last week has been a little bit busy for me. I wasn't able to stream on Wednesday and on Saturday. Actually, this weekend has been busy for me too. So yeah, I had to just postpone the streams and just stream on Monday, which is today's stream. Okay. So yeah, I hope this week goes a little smoother. I think this weekend, this next weekend is going to be a bit busy for me too, but I should be able to stream on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So we'll see. But for now, we are live right now. So let's just focus on today. Okay. So, well. First of all, on last stream, I was basically, I didn't do a lot of progress. I was basically just talking about some stuff, okay? Because I basically, well, not this. This is the actual thumbnail for YouTube. I change it every day. Well, not every day, but every stream. This is the thing I was talking about. So, so you can see here, in one moment, I have been doing some, what's this called? Some concepting, basically. So I was just basically doing this to have somewhere where I can just refer to when it comes to the actual like description of every of each section of the game. Okay, so this is something I want to do more often, and yeah, I know it's just a lot of like very time consuming because I have to be like writing stuff here, and I like to do it like with those little drawings you see there. It's really simple. It's just writing down some stuff. But I think I like doing this because it's kind of also like documenting everything. So it's not like everything is not floating in the air as ideas and things that are like kind of implemented in the game, but some of them are not, and are only in my mind. So you know, I want to start like actually writing things, and I was thinking about doing this in Figma, and there's one problem with Figma right now, and that is that I have my the free plan, okay? And that means that I only get to do 3 pages per file. And for this kind of file, like the design file, I can only create 3 files, okay? I have that limitation. And like I can do drafts, and I think I can do infinite drafts, but the problem is that drafts are local, and if I for some reason lose everything in my PC, or my hard drive is formatted, if I didn't back up those drafts, I basically lose them. So they are not stored in the cloud or anything like that. So I could use drafts, but I don't know. It's not very um, what's the word? Secure? Is that the word? I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, so basically that's the thing with Figma, and I think these files are like pretty much infinite, so I could do like a lot of things here in the same file, like this. For example, if I want to describe some system about the, I don't know, the astronaut, the systems in the astronaut, the character, for example, or stuff like that, I can use this same file and that's it. But I think that's going to be, I don't know, I didn't actually check if this is fast, having a lot of things inside the same file and inside the same page. So for example, this file, Voyager, I have 2 free pages left to use, to create. I have only one, this is gameplay. And I don't know, I would like to use Figma because it's really easy and I can do little things like this, and it's easy for using text and frames, and I don't know, it's really convenient for a lot of reasons. But yeah, we have some limitations in terms of files and stuff like that, and I can't really afford to pay a seat right now. So the other option is, well, I have a lot of options, but I don't want to be using Trello or I don't know, any other tools. I do know that Notion is one I could use, but I know of many software like applications for this purpose, but I to be honest, I don't really like them. So I've used ClickUp. It's not really good. I mean, it's fine, but it's just for planning. Then I've used, I know it has some kind of like sections or functionalities that I could do stuff like this, but then I have we have, for example, Notion, but I don't know, I don't really like it. Well, Trello is more for task planning and stuff like that, and this is not for that. This is another thing. This is basically just concepting and writing stuff. So yeah, I don't really know other apps or programs that I could use for this. So I was going to say that the other option I could use is Leonardo. So Leonardo, I don't know. It's an app that I use for sketching stuff. Okay, so this is Leonardo. It's a sketching app. Basically, you can draw here. You have your typical like drawing tools. You can paste images here. It's really cool, and it has an infinite canvas, which is also really cool, and it's really fast. But it doesn't have a text feature. So if you want to add text here, well, you actually can't. And that's a huge con actually, because at some point I don't know, in some cases I do this, I just handwrite stuff, and that's fine, I think, but it's a lot slower. And I don't know, I mean, I really like doing like drawings like this, and it's really convenient. But I think on Figma I can also do drawings. I think they added like a pencil, you know, I can do this, so I can draw here too. It's not as cool and as good as Leonardo drawing tools. It has a lot more because of course it's a sketching app. But yeah, Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of torn in this situation where I don't really know what to use in this case, but um, for now, I'm just going to let me think about this for a moment. Yeah, I think I'm going to use Figma for this. Yeah, I think it's going to be the easiest thing. So I can just go here and say systems. Okay, so I have a new file here, and I can just I don't know. I'm just going to use this. So I'm going to create a new frame. Well, yeah, I kind of deviated from the main thing I was talking about, but yeah, I was showing you that I was using this, and I was explaining this in the previous stream. Okay, so this was the main thing. I was talking about this, and I was explaining a lot of things that I want to do and how I want to work on the game. What's the plan? Right now we're working towards a like a prototype of the core loop of the game, okay? Which is basically just being able to go between every section of the game. So yeah, moving from star to star in the constellation, moving into other constellations, and then moving inside one star, moving between planets, and then inside the planet, well, just exploring the planet. There's like a lot of things that are already done here, but then we need to do something about going from the planet into space again, so that we can navigate to another star or to another constellation. So first, what I wanted to do is was basically just since I'm already working in the planetary system section of the game, okay, which is this, every like 90% of what you see is a placeholder, okay? None of this is final. Those red stars are just placeholders. The space background here, it's fine, but I'm going to be improving it a lot. So yeah, the actual starship is just a placeholder too. It's whatever. And yeah, but there's like the most basic stuff for this section is already working, which is being able to move around, okay, with the starship, and being able to activate the hyperspeed to go faster, and then positioning the planets randomly in their orbit around the star. Okay, this is the star. Well, the starship is right in the same place, but I can just move it, like I can just move this like there so that it's not too dumb here. So yeah, we have the starship. This is the star, which is the center of the scene. We have the mini map, which is actually like tracking the actual position of the starship, and also it shows the position of each planet, and you can use this as a guide to know where you have to go if you want to go to any of the planets, okay? So all of that is working. Now, the thing that's not working is actually landing on a planet, okay? And that's what I want to work on today. But for that, I need to have some kind of interaction between the starship and the planet. So the planets should have an area of interaction, which is a trigger basically. And whenever the starship enters that area, okay, if it's inside, then something happens, and that something is basically just showing in the UI the name of the planet, okay? I don't know if I have any of this actually, like, yeah, this. So you can see here, when you get close to a planet, you can see it in the background like this, okay? And planets should have this green thing. It's basically an area, okay? It's a trigger, your basic collider. And it's going to be a trigger that when the starship enters this trigger, then the UI is going to show the planet name here, and it's also going to show the input that you have to press to land on the planet. And this is basically the down button, okay, on the pad or on the keyboard or whatever, and you have to hold it until it loads, okay, the typical thing that does like a first full circle and then it finishes loading. I think I already have that. So once you finish holding, it's going to fade and then change the scene, and then you're inside the planet, okay? Ideally, we would have a sequence where the starship does like an animation that goes into the background, okay? So it would do something like going like this, okay? And I don't know, doing some kind of sequence animation that would look nice for the starship actually going to the planet and landing and blah blah blah. That would be really cool. But for now, we're not going to do that because we're just prototyping here, and the idea is to have the actual most minimal functional stuff needed for us to be able to test this, okay? So that's what we need, but like I don't want to go into the planet, for example. This is the actual prefab of the planet, okay? So this is, it has the sprite and has this little thing that makes it look pixelated, okay? This is a little system I have for pixelating stuff. But here we would actually need some kind of like I said, a little like an area, like a trigger that detects the starship when it's close. And I could go ahead and just do the actual like the typical thing. I create a circle collider, I extend the radius, whatever size I think it's best, and then I set it to trigger and go to the script, this script, and say on trigger enter, blah blah blah. But I'm not going to do that because I want to create an actual system for this that's reusable in other places, okay? That's the whole idea of like structuring the project in such way that then you have a lot of systems that you can, that are modular enough that you can use everywhere you need to be, you need to use, okay? So for example, let's think about another place that I could be using an area like this, okay, where if something enters the area, then the object that contains the area, it's going to do something about it. So another case that I could use something like that is an NPC, okay? So for example, let's say this is the planet, wherever, this is the player, okay? And this is an NPC, okay? Well, actually, I'm going to make the head square because that's how the astronaut head is. So, the NPC, so in order for the astronaut to be able to interact with the NPC, okay, whether it is for talking to the NPC or whatever thing, the NPC needs to detect the astronaut, okay? Or the other way around too. The astronaut needs to detect the NPC. But let's say that the NPC has something that when the astronaut is nearby, the NPC is going to show something, okay, it's going to show, for example, the typical exclamation mark that you can interact with it, okay? Or maybe that's more for like a quest or something like that. So maybe just like the typical conversation globe. Okay. So when you get close to the NPC, okay, you go and get close to the NPC, then the little conversation globe appears in the head of the NPC, and that means, oh, you're close enough, so now you have to press a button to start a conversation with the NPC. Okay, so for that the NPC actually needs an area, okay, that says, for example, yeah, if the player is inside this area, then I'm going to show the globe, okay? If the player enters this, then I show the globe. But if I'm here, it's not going to show it. So that's another case where we might want to use this same system, okay? And what I'm thinking of, or like naming it, is, for example, interaction area, okay? Interaction area. So that's basically what I want to do, okay? I want to create a system that's modular enough so I can use it here in the planet, or I can use it in an NPC, or I can use it in a chest, for example, that's like on the planet. You see a chest in the floor and you get close to the chest, and then when you enter the interaction area of the chest, a little pop-up appears that tells you that you can interact with it. So you press a button and you open the chest, okay? That's basically my idea for this stream. I want to start working on that, and for that I want to start like describing the system and writing like about how it should work and everything, so that we start like planning before actually starting the implementation, so that we have an idea of what we need and how we need the system to be. So I have these tasks, okay? This is what I have. Add trigger to planets in the scene so that we know when we are in orbit. Implement info UI. So all of this is what I will be doing after I create the ARIA system, okay? So yeah. So actually, let me go here and just say ARIA interaction ARIA system. Okay, so this is what we are working now on, okay? And I should actually just move this. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. So this, move it here, and also move this here. Okay, so I have those in the backlog, and current, I'm just working on this, okay? The interaction area system. Okay, that's perfect. That's great. So, so now that I have this new page here, I'm going to start describing the system here. So what we need, okay, what we need, what is it be, what the system is going to be used for. Okay, so for that, I'm just going to remove the fill in this. Well, actually, I can just use a color. For example, I would like to use some kind of like blue, like desaturated blue, like this. I think that's good. I'm going to make it a bit roundish. Well, that's a really... it's a circle basically, so maybe 10. Yeah, that's fine. So now I can increase this size, and I'm going to go here and just say interaction area. Okay, perfect. Now, well, actually, do I want to... Yeah, I think I want to maintain this like as its own thing, so I can just make it bigger and whatever. Now, can I make this be like... I don't know. Whatever. Now I have to change this. I want to use the same fonts because it's cool to use the same fonts. And yeah, so now what do I want here? I'm going to actually make this a lot bigger so that I have plenty of room. Okay. Now interaction area. Well, I think I'm... what the hell? Okay. Let's do this for now. So I need another thing, okay. So I'm just going to move this here, and I'm going to say futura. Okay. So I'm actually using the one that's called this one. I think it's the one I'm using. Book italic. Yeah, this is the one I'm using. So let's start thinking about the interaction area, okay? So, well, this is like a new way of like working on stuff for me, because I always just go into the project and start creating scripts and just like going through my mind while I write the scripts and code everything. But I never like sit down and from the start and say, okay, what is this? What do I need it for? And use cases. So basically, let's start with this, okay? What is this? I'm going to make it smaller. So I'm going to say maybe 10. Okay, so what is this? Now, can I go here and make this even smaller? So like 6? Yeah, I can. So I'm just going to do that because it's way easier. So what is this? So what is this? Is this? Yeah, this is auto width. So I'm just going to make it like that. Okay, yeah, that's better. So let's make this bigger like this. And we're going to say, okay, so what is an interaction area? An interaction area is basically okay, let me just go here and make it smaller again. So an interaction area is basically a trigger. Let me do this for now. And you know what? I'm going to make it even smaller. So an interaction area is basically a trigger that fires an event, okay, when certain let's say things enter it. Okay, so an interaction area is basically a trigger that fires an event when certain things enter, stay, or exit it. Okay, so I can even like remove the bulleted thing because whatever. Okay, perfect. Okay, great. Now, you know what? I think I should move this in like into. Where's this? Okay, and I'm just going to create a new text. I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to paste that there. Okay, this is going to be like that. Okay, perfect. Now I should create a group out of this, or a frame. Control Alt G, I think it's a frame, yeah. So what is this? An interaction area is basically a trigger that fires an event when certain things enter, stay, or exit it. Okay. Stay in or exit it. I think I should separate this with commas. Okay, that's better. Now this should be hug, I think. Hug contents. I need to make it an actual layout, so I'm just going to do this. And this is going to be hug contents. What the hell? This should be, oh, this shouldn't be field. This should be 100 there. Okay, perfect, perfect. Great. Now, okay, that's good. That's good. Now I'm thinking that I should maybe because I want everything to be kind of like ordered. But yeah, I think I lose a lot of time just trying to make everything like be like in frame and whatever. So I'm just going to go with it the way it is. So let me just do this. I'm going to duplicate this and change this. This is going to be, what's this? Oh yeah, like that. Okay. So what is an interaction area? It's an interaction area is basically a trigger that fires an event when certain things enter, stay in, or exit it. And this should be pretty straightforward. Yeah, so there's a lot of things I'm thinking of right now because I could also use like interaction areas as raycasts too, but that wouldn't be an area. That would be a different thing. So yeah, I'm trying to think of like because I'm always thinking of the best way of creating something so that it's the most modular thing possible, and I'm always trying to to make it as abstract as possible. But yeah, not everything can be like that, so whatever. So now, interaction area. What else do I need to describe about this? So why do we need interaction areas? I think that's a I don't need to describe why I need it, but maybe I need to make a list of things that could use it. So this can be used by, and this here's where I start making a list, okay, of where I could be using an interaction area. So, for example, planets in space. Okay, that's a really bad way of phrasing this, but whatever. So it can be used by planets in the planetary system scene to detect when the astronaut starship is nearby, so that the player knows when they can land on it. Okay? Okay, perfect. Well, maybe I think so. To detect when the astronaut starship is nearby, so that close enough to land on it. Okay, that's a better way to to phrase that. So interaction area can be used by planets in the planetary system scene to detect when the astronaut starship is close enough to land on it. Okay, that's good. Now, what else can use this? For example, well, now that I think about this, it's not only for planets. It's like this can like this is also for actual, for example, space stations or floating islands or stuff like that. So to detect when the astronaut starship is close enough to land on it. Okay, so it can be used by planets, space stations, service station, or anything that the astronaut can land on to detect when the astronaut starship is close enough to land on it. So maybe perfect. Now that's good. What else? So it can be, for example, NPCs. Okay, NPCs to detect when astronaut is nearby, close enough to interact with it. To interact with whatever. So in this case, for example, it's not only NPCs, it's also I don't know, chests or doors, chests, etc. to detect when astronaut is close enough to interact with it. I think that's better. When astronaut is close enough for interaction. Okay, perfect. Now, what else can I think about for the interaction area? So, for example, another thing I'm thinking of right now is for enemy sight. So that would be like a modified version of the interaction area. So for example, I could create, I'm thinking in terms of like programming now of code. So think about interaction area as a class that basically just detects the astronaut when it enters and then just fires an event. But then I could basically create a new class that inherits from interaction area, and that could be called, for example, site. And I could just like I don't know, have some new parameters or things or logic, for example, for the actual area in that specific class that contains the base things of a base area, interaction area, but also has new logic that's specific for that kind of use. So for example, site could be something that is an area of detection. Okay, so let me show you here. For example, I'm going to do a drawing. So let's say this is an enemy. Okay, so enemies have like a tetrahedron head. Okay, so let's say we have an enemy here. Okay, so yeah, it's like something like that. I don't know. So this is an enemy. Okay, whatever. So the actual site of the enemy is going to be something like this, okay? And yeah, now I'm introducing a new like concept or feature or like mechanic in the game, because site could be used for stealth mechanic, so that you can do some stealth in the game. I don't know, but I'm not thinking about that actually right now. But this is just an example. So imagine this is the area, okay? This is just an area, it's just the trigger. But let's say, for example, the enemy can, depending on some circumstances, okay? The actual site of the enemy can be bigger, like this, okay? Or can be like narrower, like this, depending on some stuff, some things, okay? And maybe it can change over time. So for example, depending on the actual lighting in the scene, it can go like longer and longer, okay? It can go like up, for example, to or it can also be another shape. It doesn't need to be actually a square like this or a rectangle. It can be a circle, for example, or like a polygon, or it can even be a raycast, like for example some raycasts like this, or maybe like this, for example. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking about when it comes to making this system as modular as possible, so that I can extend it for new logic or functionalities that I need, okay, that I could need, or that I may need. Is that better? I don't know. Whatever. So I think this is great. Okay, that's perfect. Now then, for example, enemies. So it could be used for enemies, for their site. So in this case, I could make a sub list. So for example, walkable space. Okay, so to know where I don't know. Is it like maybe I could use a raycast for that too? So yeah, let's say site to detect and start attacking for what else could enemies use the area? Well, whatever. Okay, whatever. So we set some examples, okay? Here. So yeah. Now so I'm thinking about some stuff now. I'm trying to think what's the best way for this system to behave. So for example, I'm thinking about a couple things, and I'm not really sure how I should approach this. Like, I know like how I can do this, but I don't know what's the actual best way of implementing this. So I'm thinking of two things, two possibilities. So option number one is like the question is this: where should the interaction area be? Okay, should it be in the player, or should it be in the thing? Okay, like not the interaction area. I'm thinking about the actual system that fires a message. Okay, so who should be like yeah, thinking about, for example, let's say here the player is here, okay? And the player is going to have its own colliders and things, okay? Because entities have colliders, okay? Have triggers so that everything that detects an entity can know, okay, I detected an entity, and it can receive all of the information it needs, okay, about that entity. So what I'm thinking right now, for example, is in this case in particular, okay, what should happen, like this trigger is going to have the script, the class that's called interaction area, okay, and this area is going to like fire an event, okay, something entered the area, okay, or exited, whatever. Now, should the planet be the one that's informing the UI system that the starship entered, or is the actual like player that the systems in the player, is this the thing that should be informing the UI that something entered in the area? I think that like maybe the planet should be the one that's informing. So if we think about this in terms of like responsibilities, let's say for example we have the planetary system. Well, let me do this here, so this is going to be better. So planetary system, okay. So this is the script, this is the manager, okay, this is a, okay, I have this as script, and you know what, I have this, the script is called planetary system, and I think it should be called it should have a different name, because it's not like planetary system okay, if that makes sense. So I should be changing the name of this. I'm going to do that later, but now, well, it can actually be manager like this, so it can be planetary system manager. I think that's the best thing I can do. So whatever, planetary system manager, we have this, we have the then like the planetary system has a reference to the planets. So it has a list of planets, okay? Perfect, so the planetary system manager has the list of planets, and the actual planet is going to have a reference to the area, okay? So this is going to have a reference to the area. Okay. So planets are going to have the reference to the interaction area. And now what should happen here is, okay, something like the player entered the area. Okay, so now interaction area fires an event, okay? So that's like your typical thing, okay? It says, okay, something entered the area, okay. Now planets is going to listen to that, okay? So it's the motion is going to be like this. So planets listen to the event, and then the planet is going to also fire an event, okay? So that I don't have a dependency, okay? Because I could have like a direct reference to this, okay? To what's the key? Okay, I could have a reference to the planetary system and say planetary system dot whatever, but that's going to add an actual dependency. And the idea is that I should be able to use the same, like this same object in the planet scene too, and that in that context you shouldn't be able to interact with the planet. Like, it's far in the background and it doesn't make any sense. You don't interact with the planets when you're inside a planet, but you can see one in the background. So I'm going to use the same prefab because it has the sprite and it has the system that makes the whatever. So I don't want to add a reference, a dependency to this. So instead, I think planets should have its own event that then the planetary system is going to listen, okay? So that the planetary system manager is going to say, okay, one of the planets detected something enter in its area, okay? So then I'm going to do something, and then this, okay, so this is another event, okay? And then the planetary system is going to say, okay, I'm going to tell the UI to do something, okay? I think that's the chain, okay? The actual thing. Hey, Ciala, how you doing? Gonna be here for some lurking. That's good, that's good. Oh, and sorry, I'm really sorry about the thing. You sent like a GDD or something, you wanted some feedback on, and I said, oh yeah, I'm going to be checking that in soon, and I never checked it. I've been really busy lately, so I'm sorry about it, but I'm going to be checking it as soon as I can. So yeah, I have been reading a little bit, but I want to give you a really good feedback. I want to read it, give it a good read, and yeah. So yeah, this is basically the chain. Like what should happen is, like, this is the thing that's going to be listening to what happened and to what happens, and then decide and do things about that. So for this, can I do this? Yeah. And this. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So that's great. Now all I need to do is, like I said, just go here and start creating the actual script. Okay, that's the idea. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. And it should be pretty straightforward. Okay, I should be able to, for example, create here interaction area. Okay, this is just an object, it's an interaction area. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I'm trying to think, like, I think I'm trying to think of so many things at once, just to know what I should be and how I should be implementing this, and I think I should just go here and just start creating things. So yeah, I think, yeah, I have this, this thing which is collider, and I have collider event. Now I think this is already yeah, let me see this collider event, colliders debug. So game engine.game tag to check. Okay, public list to the ignore, so the colliders to ignore. Okay, VFX call. What's a VFX call? Okay, components debug, ignore list, add, remove, raycast hit received, play VFX, check ignore, collision enter, trigger enter. So yeah, this is something I did for actually the hit and hurt like interaction. So for the actual damage interaction, that's what I basically did. So I have this tag to check, player ground hitbox, hurtbox. Oh man, so yeah, and it's what the hell. So I have interactions system. So yeah, I should remove this folder I created there, and here oof. So I think that like interaction area is a collider event. I tried to create this in a modular way, but I have that like the VFX thing there, and it's, I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. So trying to think here. Toggle, that's really good. So there's like, this has the actually this has all of the things I need. There's a couple things that are like dependencies that I don't need. Well, not dependencies, but things that should be in another script and that shouldn't be like inside of this collider event. Like not everything is going to activate a VFX when an interaction happens. So when I enter like an area where, like for an interaction with an NPC, I don't necessarily want to play a VFX, so that's it's a bit weird to have this here. So yeah, and for example here I'm using this, the event thing on collision. So this is other, this is call. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think because this collider event thing, I already implemented it to, well, like I said, it's for like the damage interaction. And I think I don't know, I should be like scrapping all of this and just starting over. I should just create a new script called interaction area. I think that's what I should do. And then what I need, for example, in the case of the actual damage interaction, so like hitbox and hurtbox and that kind of thing, like they need to have the same event, okay, for when the actual interaction happens, but also they need to transfer like a different set of data, okay, of information. So for example, when a projectile hits an enemy, there's some information I need to transfer to that enemy from the projectile. So when the enemy receives the hit, it's going to, like, the projectile is going to transfer the damage data, okay, the damage information to the enemy receiver. So that then the enemy can read all of that information and say, okay, this projectile has this amount of damage and it has this buff, for example, and it's from the player and blah blah blah, okay? So yeah, that's how I think I should be implementing this. So yeah, it's really yucky because all of this is already working, and yeah, I'm already using this collider thing, I guess, I think. Let me just go into the astronaut prefab. This is the astronaut prefab. I have collider physics, ledge, hurtbox, hitbox. Okay, that's okay. Okay. So yeah, it seems like I'm already using some kind of system for this, and it's under the name like collider. Collider event. Yeah, I need to actually think about this. Colliders physic, collider ledge. So physic, the physics collider is not doing anything basically. Okay, yeah. I think now also, for example, the ledge thing. This is also a collider. And this is also basically an interaction area, for example. So this little trigger I have here is basically the thing I use for detecting the ledges, and I'm using this in combination with some raycasts. So I don't know what I'm why I'm not seeing those raycasts. I think it's because I'm not in play mode. So yeah. Well, I should be able to see them. Why am I not seeing them? Huh. I don't know. I actually don't know. So senses. So ledge detection. And here I should be like able to see the raycasts. And why am I calling this grabbed CD? Is that for cooldown? Yeah, there's a lot of things I need to work on. Oh man. Hurts. But yeah, I don't really know what to do with this because it's like this is not implemented the way I want it to be. But like it's really like it's not bad, like it's pretty clean in some senses, but it's like it's not what I'm thinking with this, with the new system, like the new interaction system I'm thinking about. So yeah. Now the thing is, for example, I have the colliders here, okay? I have the actual colliders here. And then, for example, here, where is the census thing? I think it is. I have this, which is the trigger, and I have the reference there. And yeah, also, what the hell, do I have a reference to the ground detection? Or maybe the actual, like this collider is the one that's detecting the ground. But maybe that's because this is an entity, like the astronaut is an entity. Maybe the actual like senses, yeah, it has a collider thing. This is the collider, like the whatever collider, and then it has the hurt box and the heat box there too. So the senses class is managing those colliders too, and I think, oh man, that's so bad. Like it's really annoying because also why do I have this little circle there? What's that? I don't know. Whatever. It's really annoying because if I want to, let's say I want to just remove this and start over, a lot of things that I worked on for the astronaut to be like to detect the ground and then to climb, and a lot of things I already worked on and that are pretty decent. Everything is going to be broken and I will have to work on that again, and that's annoying, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know how to think about this right now. Like for example, the physics collider of the entity, should this be an interaction area? That's a question, for example. I'm not sure. Like, the physical, like the physical collider should have, like it should fire events for when it detects the ground and stuff like that. But for example, I'm seeing that here for the actual ground detection, I think I'm using raycasts. So the actual physical collider, let's see here in senses. Like, what am I doing with the actual physical collider? Look at this. I am only referencing the box collider, I'm not even referencing the physical collider. So what the hell? Set physics collider. Okay, so that's, yeah, I'm just basically just toggling the collider on and off. And I know, yeah, there's some cases where I want to disable or enable the physical collider, but I'm trying to think if I should treat it like another interaction area. That's the thing, and I'm also thinking that I should be able to set the interaction area to also be like a physical collider and not only a trigger. So here, for example, an interaction area is basically a trigger. Maybe I should say a collider. Collider/trigger that fires an event when certain things enter state in or exit it. So I'm thinking that maybe what I'm trying to do now, which is also make the interaction area like adding the possibility for this to also be a physical collider. Maybe I'm breaking the concept of the interaction area. I don't know, because this is an area of interaction, okay? And it's physical. The thing is, nothing can get inside of this because it's physical, and well, unless the other thing is a trigger. That's the thing. So if a trigger touches this physical collider, then this should be then this should fire the event anyways. And so yeah, I'm thinking about a couple things, okay? I'm thinking that maybe I want all of the physical interactions to be like in a separate context than the actual like triggers and stuff like that. So maybe this collider, like the actual physical collider, yeah, maybe the actual physical collider should like be in like a different layer that's for only the physics, okay? So maybe here I should have a layer for physics, okay? And then all of the other things, like all of the other interactions, like triggers for hits, like for damage, like hitbox or hurtbox, and interactions like entering a zone or entering, well, an interaction zone, an interaction area. Maybe all of those things should be in a different layer, so that all of those things interact with each other, but only with each other and not with any other thing. So yeah, maybe that's what I should do. For example, you can see that I'm kind of doing that here. You can see that Hurtbox, it's in layer hitbox, and hitbox is also in layer hitbox. Then I'm checking the tag here. Okay, so tag to check for the hurtbox is hitbox, and for the hitbox is the other way around. Well, actually hitbox is not detecting anything. I think it's because like the hitbox is only like doing the thing, and then the hurtbox is grabbing all of the information. I think that's how I'm doing that. I'm not sure if that's how I should do that. Whatever. In any case, yeah, you see, I'm just branching out to every system I think about, and that's not great. So I think I should be doing that, like, so interaction area should be one thing, for example, and then like then I should have like a physical interaction, like physical, yeah, it's physical interaction. It should be only in the physical layer, and it should only serve the purpose of making stuff like collide with each other, and that's it. I think that's it. So yeah, I'm thinking that I should maybe like separate this. For example, it shouldn't, well, I don't know if it should have this collider event thing. Maybe it should. Maybe it should, because this like collider, when I say collider, I think about a physical collider. But then if you say trigger, then I think about an interaction area, for example, stuff that's not physical, okay? That's not that's not solid, for example. So this trigger is not physical. Same thing with this, with the hurtbox and the hitbox and all that. So yeah. Now I don't know why I can't see the gizmo color for this. It's really weird. Should be able to see it, but I can't. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think I should be refactoring this. So for example, hurtbox and hitbox. Sorry. So hurtbox and hitbox, those should be like those should be interaction areas, okay? And you know what? I think that the physical collider of the player should go inside the sprite. Yeah. Well, yeah, I could go inside the sprite, but it could also go like yeah, I don't know. like for example, I'm thinking about putting the physical collider there, because if I modify the sprite, you can see that the collider also changes. But if I have it there, if I change the sprite, let's say like that, you can see the collider is the same size. Okay, so that's why I'm thinking that maybe the physics collider should go inside the sprite. Although when I modify anything, I am going to be modifying the entire object. And I'm never going to modify the scale of this, so I shouldn't worry about that, for example. But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I have to go soon. Like, I think in about 5 minutes I have to go actually. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to just add all of the things I was talking about, and I'm thinking about that I should do. Okay, so I'm going to add tasks here. Okay, subtasks. So for example, I should refactor, like, that should only be used for physical colliders. Okay, and I'm also thinking that maybe like there shouldn't be even like any freaking collider event script. Like they shouldn't exist at all. So I should say separate physical interactions Okay, separate physical interactions. I'm going to do this actually. Separate physical interactions, colliders, into their own layer. Okay. Okay. So yeah, the thing with the actual like collider event and all that, yeah, I think I'm going to remove that, because for example, for ground detection I'm using raycasts, and then for ledge detection I'm using an interaction area. So what the hell? So change collider event class to interaction area and making it as modular and abstract as possible. Okay. So that's basically just changing, instead of collider event, it's going to be an interaction area, and then from that I can create a new class that's going to be called, for example, hitbox, and then another one that's going to be called hurtbox, and those are going to be interaction areas. Those are basically triggers. Okay. So yeah, that's basically what I need to do. Okay, yeah, what I'm thinking now is that do I want to call it interaction area? Because if you think of an area, you think of like a place, like an actual space area, and like technically, hitbox is that, because it's just a box, and it's that area of interaction. Um, so yeah. Make a new physics layer for interaction, refactor hitbox system with the new okay. So that's what we are going to be doing in the next stream, okay? And yeah, I think that should be all we do, basically. The next stream is going to be on Wednesday. I think it's good that we started like doing this this way, because like now we have like a better description of what this is. So for example, I should also create a new description of what the physical interaction is. In fact, that's really simple. It's just a physical interaction that makes physical objects in the world interact and with each other, and like in a physical way. That's it, basically. But yeah, that's really simple. I think I shouldn't be creating a description about that. I don't know. Maybe I can do it in the next stream too. But yeah, I should also describe here that it has its own layer, okay, the interaction area layer, and yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing in the next stream. I'm going to try to refactor the thing, and yeah, that's gonna be it. I want to like, I think I wanted to do this of like having the collider event be like a global thing, because I want to make us like standards for things, so that like there's as few systems as possible. That's my plan. So like for example, I have the interaction system, and that works for hitbox and hurtbox, so like for damage system, and that works for interactions with NPCs, and for chests, and for doors, and for planets when you get close to a planet, and for, I don't know, every interaction you can think about in the game, or like projectiles interacting with enemies, or with, I don't know, with walls, for example. So, oh yeah, I just thought about something that maybe wouldn't work. So, oh man. So yeah, what happens if I make the actual like physical colliders, if I put them in like in a different layer, what happens with the the hitboxes or projectiles, for example? What happens with them? They should interact with the wall, for example, if they hit the wall and or the ground, you know, and they should do something about that. So make a new physics layer. Um, well, whatever. I'm going to think about that later. Maybe Collider event should still exist. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy, but we'll get there. So yeah, I have to go now. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to be live on Wednesday if everything goes well and I'm not too like bloated with a lot of work and stuff. But I should be able to stream on Wednesday and also on Friday. I don't want to make promises because you know how this goes, but yeah. Don't forget to join the Discord, okay? Join the Discord if you want to get notifications when I go live. And also you can share stuff there. You can share art, music, games, whatever you do, or you can just chill there and play games and whatever. Just chat with the community, okay? Get feedback from me, from other people. Okay, that's great. So don't forget to join the Discord. And also, if you're watching from YouTube, consider subscribing to the channel. I think we are at 19 subscribers, so we're going to get to 20 subscribers soon. That's great. I hope we get to 100 subscribers at some point. That would be great. But yeah, thank you for watching. And I will see you in the next stream, okay? See you. Bye-bye.